Hey, how you doing? I've actually been interested in stem separation ever since I heard Peter Jackson using it on the Beatles documentary Get Back. And then I heard Giles Martin was using it for the remixes of Revolver. And I have to admit, my first thought was that AI might be recreating the sounds from scratch. I mean, how else can you separate a kick drum from a full mix? But Giles has come out and stated that that is simply not the case. It is straight up separating it magically. Yo Giles, give me those Ringo kicks. Now, where that comes in handy for someone like me is I have a lot of tapes that I no longer have the stems to, or actually I've never even had the stems. Say some jams straight to tape. Back where I'm from on the Central Coast, I used to have a commercial studio. My first one was in a little town called Los Osos. Now there wasn't much going on in Los Osos, but I figured enough that I would rent a commercial space and set up my first studio, and I was able to record myself and a handful of friends. Earlier I tracked down a tape that I thought I had lost, and on it are some old legacy recordings of mine. I made these with old friends throughout the years, and they're very special and sentimental to me, so the ability to actually go in there and be able to separate them is very meaningful. And then fast forward to the kind people at LALAL.ai reaching out to me and offering to collaborate. They gave me some credits so I can use their software and mess around. They did sponsor this video, but have no say in the context of what I say. So I'm curious, how is 10-year-old crusty tape gonna sound put through AI stem separation? Let's find out. Alright, let's drag in our first file, the Vandelfio. Now it's doing its work. Let's listen to this vocal.
Rain, slowly as it hits the floor. The same old melody as rolling on down the pain. Is it me or my say?
Sounds pretty good. I noticed right around here though, it kind of got muddy, but in the beginning it sounded quite clear.
Rain.
You hear at the end of rain, it kind of gets darker.
Rain, slowly as it hits the floor.
But then that whole phrase was very bright.
Rolling on down the pain.
Now keep in mind, these are from actual tapes. I want to hear everything else though. I got to figure out how to use this. What I really want is access to every, the drums, the bass. This is a live recording. Okay, I played these drums, so I was actually pretty good back in this time. Okay, here we go. This is the real part. It sounds decent, but there's a lot of artifacts for sure. You can't not hear those artifacts. It's a bit of like it's kind of like this pedal sitting over here. Goodhertz Lossy by Chase Bliss, which this kind of emulates like old school vintage internet and kind of more lo-fi compression, lo-fi digital compression, which is not bad. It's a sound. I have a feeling that the part without the drums probably sounds a lot better. I think the drums would be much more difficult to isolate. Let's see what it sounds like with no drums.
Slowly as it hits the floor. The same old melody as rolling on down the pain. Is it me or am I insane?
What's so interesting is that when I turn up the drums, when I turn up both stems, it sounds quite good. The drums, no artifacts.
Is it me or am I insane?
which leads me to believe that perhaps the music is really hiding the artifacts well. So it makes me think about when you go listen to stems of some of your favorite songs, and when you hear the drums say isolated, they kind of sound not as good as you thought they were. It's because in the context of the mix, they sound fantastic, but when you listen to them in isolation under the microscope, they're not so great. At least not as you remembered, your memory. So I wonder if something like that is kind of happening here, where it's like, okay, in isolation, not the greatest sound in the world, not terrible. I'm very impressed with the ability. I mean, I don't hear any more music at all. The drums sound like a legitimate, stem. This is fun. This is very, very interesting. It's giving me a window into a world that I could never have before. I'm just so curious because I never used the software. I really don't know how it works. So when I'm listening to the stem, there's all kinds of artifacts in it. And then when I add the other one, it sounds great. So is the music alone able to cover those artifacts, or is it playing both at the same time, essentially playing my original file? I don't know. Let's pick a more challenging part.
Slowly as it hits the floor.
You hear we have some tape artifacts there, so it might be a little more challenging for it. Let's see what it can do.
Rain, slowly as it hits the floor.
Interesting. Hear it again.
Rain,
Original.
rain, slowly as it hits the floor.
And now here's the instrumental. And together.
Rain, slowly as it hits the floor. The same old melody. Rolling on down the pain. Is it me or am I insane?
Let's explore that part a little more. Vocal only.
Is it me or am I insane?
Instrumental. Original.
Is it me or am I insane?
I'm pretty impressed. That sounds pretty damn good. There's something about quality these days that's really shifted. It's not about quality like it used to be. We love to record things on our iPhone memos. We love to get things raw. And I think that when you're adding a bunch of other elements, something that people forget about is you're not hyper-focusing. It's not normal for people to go into stems and snoop around. I mean, we love to do it because that's what we are inspired by, and that's what gives us motivation and insight into another artist's creative process. But in reality, normal people don't do this. So when we do it, we have to be conscious of the fact that we're viewing music under a microscope, and that changes things exponentially. Download. Okay, back to previews. And now I want drums. Separate it. Remove it. Make it nice. Let's hear the drums. Let's just hear them first. Download. Great. Now let's do bass. Okay, I'm going to put those drums in the Logic session. Make sure it's all lined up because sometimes Logic will be sneaky. I don't like the sneaky stuff that they do. When it's like 3 milliseconds off and then you're like, why is my loop not repeating correctly? We'll get the electric guitar. I don't want to spoil anything. Let's get all the stems together so then we can go through them and have some fun. I think it does take this long for the guitar to come in because it's like dramatic. Oh my God. I forgot the vocal. I didn't download that? Look at that sunburst strat. We don't want that. Let's listen a little bit, okay? Okay, there's a lot going on. This is a very dense arrangement, but the tape is also just completely mangled. This is another song by the Monroe. If memory serves correctly, it's called Blackbird. I did an EP for them, and I was actually playing guitar for them at the time, and it never got finished. So it's just something that's sitting around on my hard drive. It's a project that's very important to me because I feel like it was kind of some of my best work at the time. It's probably done in like 2016, I believe. Now, I think there's harmonies in this, so I'm curious if the vocal has all the harmonies together. Okay, I got everything downloaded and put into place. Now let's find out how it sounds, mainly the vocals. Damn, Mo. It's just crazy. Let's hear that vocal.
After all the words that you said to me, now I'm crying, after all the words you said to me.
That scared me for a second. That's her. She's doing harmonies. There's definitely a harmony in there. When that low voice came in, let's hear trippy. But the fact we're able to get these vocals is really, really cool. I'm super pumped on that.
After all the things you said to me, now I'm crying, baby. These were the last words he said. Alright.
I never liked the drums on this song. They're always just too bombastic. It's like Lars Ulrich or something.
Words he said.
No. It's like Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's like he's maxing out on ghost notes. Chill the ghost notes. But damn, I think this is perfectly sampleable. It opens up the track a lot for me because I never liked these drums and there's a lot of things I didn't like about it. So to be able to now have access to, this is stunning. This is beautiful. Okay, this is probably the most cleanest track I have off of this old crusty tape. It is simply bass, drums, 12-string guitar, and there's a little bit of vocal in here as well. So this should be a good example of what happens when the source file is pretty clean. Let's go with drums first. It would be great if we could go so far as getting kick and snare. Hopefully that'll be an update in the future. Let's hear them drums. That's definitely the cleanest so far. Yeah, it would be great if there was a way for it to just automatically do them all at once. That's a little bit of feedback I would love to give. Okay, here's the bass. I remember it sounding that grimy. I think we used like a shitty solid state amp on purpose to just get the most grimy, nasty bass sound. Now the guitar itself, it is acoustic, but it's a 12-string, and I think we did plug it in. So I don't know if it's going to be able to tell that it's a electric or acoustic or not. It sounds, well, it just sounds weird because it's like an electric acoustic that someone's like ripping on. So it's not a normal sound you would hear. Cool. No, I picked it up. So we got that. We're gonna get the drums, the bass, the guitar. I think it's just the vocal left, and then we're good. We got it all. Da-da-da-da-da-da. The vocal. We got everything. So let's drop it all in here. I wanted to do this one, but it's messy. This is clean. This has I don't know. There's just somehow it's like the cleanest tape recording I have from this era. I don't know what I did differently back then. Sometimes it's like that. You're doing the same thing all the time, but one day you just do it really well by accident. Here's the original. Here we got the guitar. And then I believe bass. That makes me happy to hear that because it really takes me back to that day. I remember that so clearly, using that giant crappy solid state amp turned up so loud. It just sounded like garbage, but that's what we wanted. Now the drums. These are the best sounding drums that we've gotten today off of tape. It's done a great job. Very little artifacts. Let's hear everything together, just the AI versions, and then we'll compare it to the actual mix. I almost like that's what I'm really curious about. We separate everything, but when you put it back together, how's it sound? And when you put it all back together, it sounds really good. It sounds the same. So again, I think my theory is proven kind of right, is when you have enough layers, some of that weird freaky stuff that's going on underneath, it gets hidden. I mean, that weird freaky stuff is happening under a lot of old MP3s. I remember one time I had an MP3 of Bob Dylan. It was like Route 66, and I did that trick where you pan them inward and then flip the phase on the console, and it suddenly sounded like he was singing from under the ocean. It sounded like a song from the Little Mermaid soundtrack. It was so bizarre. Let's hear the vocal. That's what I want to hear.
Like a river in fall, only act so frightened. If you ever recall, only life is frightened.
Wow. It's so crazy to hear that. It's trippy. Let's bring in, oh, give me chills. Let's hear it with the guitar and vocal. It's a little quiet. Was it quiet on the actual mix? Let's hear just the AI. Okay, that does sound different for sure. So we lost a bit of impact with the vocal, and that's unfortunate. But you know, you never know what you're gonna get. It depends on your source file. It depends on how the AI can separate it. So each time you try a different song, it's gonna be a little bit different. There is a little bit of gating kind of going on. Something about that is making the vocal sound a little choked compared to this version. So I'm a little surprised. I figured the vocal being so loud and clear and up front and have an easier time extracting it in the end, but it seemed to struggle a little bit. But it still did it.
Like a river in fall, only act so frightened.
Oh, it's everything at once. Oh my god. Those drums sound good though. Those drums sound good, you gotta admit that. Alright, these are my final thoughts. So when it comes to taking an old tape and seeing what's on it and splitting it up, it's not perfect, but it does a damn exceptional job. I would not normally be able to get access to any of these files. They're all gone. So when there's certain elements like the drums or the vocals that I really want to capture and sample and, bring some life back into, I have that ability. So that is really, really unique and fun. Technology like this is always evolving and changing. So tomorrow there could be a huge update and everything could sound 10 times better. You'd never know. I was pretty happy with this, and this is a tool that I will be using when necessary. Ideally, you're not going to lose your sessions and you can keep everything together. But in the event that you can't, you have this ability, and I think that's really, really phenomenal. I'm sure there's tons of other uses that you can find for this, but this is how I would tend to use it. And check it out, your boy's in the affiliate program now. So if you actually want to use this yourself, there's a link below. I get a little kickback from it and it supports the channel. I appreciate all of you, and I hope you found this interesting. Going down memory lane. This is productions that I made way back in the day, and it was really fun to be able to share this moment with you and hear them separated for the first time. It's kind of like watching those classic album DVDs back in the day. You ever watched one of those where they isolate David Bowie's background vocals on Satellite of Love, and you're just like, oh my god, that man can sing. Thank you very much, LALAL, if that's how you pronounce your name. I think it is. I think it's a really great service, and thank you for sponsoring this video. They have a lot of different options on their website: stem splitting, voice cleaner, voice changer, voice cloner. Oh, it looks like they can also separate the lead and backing vocals. So yeah, I was even told by a good friend today. He called me and we're having a chat, and he said that this is the best sound quality that he's heard through anyone else. I'm curious what you guys think, if you have experience with other companies as well. I know Logic has their own version of it too now apparently, but in my opinion, I think everyone is going to have artifacts. That's just the name of the game right now. That's just where the technology is. So let's just take a moment to appreciate the sound, because one day we'll want to recreate it. Just like there's a pedal. One day there might be a stomp box that recreates this old LALAL.ai. Fireworks at 2 in the morning. Gotta love living in LA. Thank you so much for watching.